Hello everyone, once again welcome to another edition of Conversations with Dr. Rudolph. Today we're going to be looking at the activation or the formula again for life, and today we're going to be looking at the fuel supply component of it. So when we talk fuel supply for your body, on a basic level we're looking at basically oxygen and glucose, what's needed in order to make your cells able to perform the process of making something called ATP. ATP is the energy source for your cells, and oxygen and glucose are needed for those at a basic level. We also need all the vitamins, minerals, cofactors, all those different things that help run the machinery in order to make the ATP, in order to make your cells become healthy and do their jobs of restoring, repairing, eliminating toxins, all the different jobs that they're needed to do. If you start to run low on energy, your body's cellular mechanics start to slow down as well. You become more toxic, you become fatigued, you become lethargic. Your body starts to potentially use other forms of fuel. The cells then, as they use other forms of fuel, they secrete a lot more toxins into your environment, your internal environment, which potentially can cause your cells to mutate, causing things like cancers and other things that we don't need happening, when the bottom line is, if we would just be a little more diligent about getting the proper fuel supply to our bodies, the better job our bodies will have of helping to heal themselves and to stay and remain healthy. It's one of the biggest challenges everybody wants to know. Well, one question I get asked is, Doc, do I need to be on vitamins, minerals, supplements, something like that on a daily basis? And my answer to them is, it's not a matter of if you should be on something, it's a matter of what should you be taking. Unfortunately, our food supply has become very devoid of the levels of vitamins, minerals, nutrients that we need in order to be at our healthiest, due to processing and transportation and early harvesting, all those different things that they do. Because back 100, 150 years ago, all of the food that people would eat came locally. You couldn't transport it more than 10, 15, 20 miles. Because there's no way to actually store it and keep it from rotting. But today now we have canning processes and preservatives and additives, and we can harvest oranges in Florida when they're green and transport them, and by the time they get to where they need to get to in the Midwest, they're orange. But have they gained any vitamin C by doing that? No. Vitamin C that is highly concentrated in oranges is only highly concentrated if the orange stays on the tree. Once you take it off, you can't put any more vitamin C in that orange, and that's kind of the challenge that we have with a lot of our food today. Is we harvest things too quickly, or we have other things that are getting involved or getting in the way of our body's ability to use and absorb and take these different things into account to be able to make the fuel supply needed. I mean, one of our big challenges now is the number of chemicals that are in our environment. Over 10,000 chemicals are added into the environment every year, and hardly any of them are ever checked as far as long-term exposure, what it does to a person. Basically, if you are exposed to it and it doesn't kill you within 24 hours, then they basically assume that it's okay, and they put it out into the marketplace, where we know now that long-term exposure to chemicals is the real detriment to our health, not the instantaneous exposure and instant issues of death or allergic reaction that might be the cause. So as an example, for a lot of times, people hear now of issues of peanut allergies, just as an example. Well, peanuts necessarily aren't the problem. The problem with the peanuts is when they harvest them and they have them in such high amounts, they have to store the peanuts somewhere. When they put the peanuts in the bin, sometimes these bins can become contaminated with a fungus called or a mold called Aspergillus. The Aspergillus creates something called aflatoxin. The aflatoxin is extremely poisonous to your liver and its ability to detoxify and keep your immune system under control. So some trending ideas out there that people aren't allergic to the peanuts, they're allergic to the aflatoxin that's on the peanuts because of the mold that's in the storage bins that, once again, in low levels, they're considered not contaminated. But if you get them at high enough levels or in concentrated levels or a shorter period of time, you can develop these reactions. Another challenge of, once again, this is another theory that's been put out there as far as you hear of all the people that have gluten sensitivities or gluten allergies, or this gluten is the catchword that's out there today. Well, gluten is a protein that comes from a large number of grains: wheat, rye, barley, different components like that. Well, the idea that's, or the one thing that's common with these things is those items or those grains are sprayed, and they're sprayed with herbicides and fungicides and insecticides, and these chemicals. One of the things that they potentially do in order to, for instance, with insects, is the spray is designed to destroy the digestive enzyme or the digestive system within the bug. So basically, the bug starves because they can't absorb the nutrients that are needed for them to survive. Sounds kind of familiar with potential issues with gluten sensitivity and the fact that the chemical residue that's on the grains gets into the end product, the breads, the pastas, everything that you eat that has gluten in it. The chemical residue actually causes your digestive system to erode to the point where the gluten proteins leak into your bloodstream, and now your immune system identifies those gluten proteins as being foreign, building up an antibody response to them, which now makes you allergic or have bad issues with gluten. These are just some of the ideas and prospects and theories that are out there today, and they're not that far-fetched because you go back 100 years and there were no gluten allergies, peanut allergies, all these issues with foods and what's happened in the last 100 to 150 years or sooner than that, the number of chemicals in our environment has skyrocketed. Our bodies did not have the chance to adapt themselves as fast as the chemicals are coming out. Like I said, every year 10,000 new chemicals are entered into our environment, and none of them hardly are ever checked to how they interact with each other. And so you could have one chemical being inert and another chemical being inert, but if you mix them together, now all of a sudden they become toxic, right? But that doesn't happen until it actually gets out into the marketplace. They don't check it in the lab. So keep these things in mind. As far as nutritional things and supplements goes, your basic vitamins, minerals, nutrients, fatty acids, those types of things. If you have questions about what would be the optimal that you'd like to take, or what I recommend is optimum, you can send me a text, send me an email. You can write to dr.allen.rudolph@gmail.com. Just send me an email. I can send you back just my basic recommendations for nutritional supplements for people, and kind of go forward from there. But that kind of wraps it up today for the nutritional or the fuel supply component. It's a big topic. I'll probably give another conversation with Dr. Rudolph on more aspects of that component, just because there's so many questions out there and people are looking for answers. And I'm not saying I have all of them, but we were trying to track down where some of these challenges come from, at least get you going with the basics so that you can live a healthier and happier life. If you like what you hear, go to Facebook. I'll have it posted there. I also have this posted on YouTube. If you like what you see or like what you hear, please share us with other people, and that way we can share this information and knowledge with more people and get more people healthy. Once again, this is Dr. Allen Rudolph. Have a great day.